Okay, welcome to a Friday afternoon vintage preliminary event. We're playing Blue Black Burn. I mean Mill. I mean Crabs. I started by just trying out the old Crab Shack, Fast Bond, Orboro, Bounce Land, Hedron Crab combo. I did not like the Fast Bond section of it. I did not like the Simic Growth Chambers and that kind of stuff. I did like Mind Funeral, so I decided, what if we play Blue Black Xerox with 8 crabs, a bunch of milk cards, a bunch of counters. I still have a fast bond and some Urboros, because Urboros kind of okay as it is, just returning and making sure you mill 3 every turn. And then like you have a bunch of tutors, so might as well keep the fast bond anyways. Um, so the idea was 8 mill crabs, a lot of the blue power suite. I wanted to include this as just a way to a catch-all, and then I've been hitting a lot of decks recently that don't play that many lands. Mind Funeral has averaged about 15 to 20 cards, which has been almost enough to justify it. Sometimes it's a one-hit kill against things like Belcher. I am playing one Archive Trap in the main just as like a Merchant Scroll target, but I do have 3 Archive Traps on the board. Uh, there's a bunch of decks in Vintage that actually just don't search their library, so I couldn't find a reason to play more in the main, and I'm not playing like Field of Ruin to trigger it. Mindbreak Trap because everybody's doing busted things. Hercule's Recall is my attempt to beat Shops. I don't think we can beat Shops. I'm not going to lie. I don't really see how this deck is going to beat Shops. So if we were playing in Shops round 1, that might be unfortunate. And then we have just a bunch of graveyard cards. I think that's kind of all I wanted to say. I don't think this deck is super good, but I've been having some fun. I haven't had any leagues where I didn't cash. They've all been 3-1s, 3-2s, and 4-1s. And it's been evolving as we go. So let's just try it and see how it goes. I'll put it in the stream deck cardboard live after we play round 1 because I'm a little behind. All right, so round 1 vintage challenge, vintage prelim, vintage something with crabs. Yes, I got a crab, I got a daze, I got some forces and a prayer day, and I mean this seems like a reasonable hand to be keeping. Good matchups I've found to be Belcher, Paradoxical Outcome, Doomsday, DPS. Bad matchups, Pyroblast has been a problem. I assume Shops. Hollowvine has been somewhat 50-50. Sometimes you mill a bunch of their squeeze and you die, and sometimes like it works in your favor. Yeah, I don't think the deck's very good, so we should 5-0 with it, right? That's how this works. I assume that's how this works. All right, I'm gonna, while we wait for Discoverin to show up, I'm just gonna work on the cardboard live because I'm so far behind. Vintage crabs, create a deck, port a deck, download crabs. Yo, he copes. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. You're a powerful wizard. I hope you enjoy the emotes. Let me just put this in the cardboard. I got, yes, the cardboard live real quick while we're here, I guess. I suppose. Crabs. Appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so that's up to date. I'm good here. I got this up. We're good to go. Discover and kept 7 because that's what you do when you're a powerful wizard. We have to fetch a basic island so we don't get wastelanded. And I think we're just going to jam crab. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're just going to jam a preordain, actually. I actually think we should just jam a preordain. I don't really have a... Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. This obviously makes me a little silly for not playing the crab, but we got more crabs and more lands, which I am all about. Sweet. Alright, so let's see what Discover ends on. They've been trying some new things, so it might not be... It's Doomsday. Alright, Doomsday, I feel like, is not a bad matchup. I could daze this. I don't think I want to daze this. You have like a bunch of options. Obviously, we have 4 archive traps in our 75, which are very good against Doomsday. And then if you can like put a crab or two up with a fetch land, it makes it very hard for them to Doomsday. So we have a bunch of counters. We have lands coming. We've got crabs. So pretty happy with where we're at right now in life. I mean, we don't really do anything. So if opponent just doesn't Doomsday, we might just lose, I guess. It is a little silly when we like put all our effort into milling them and then they just Doomsday and put all the cards away. Alright, that's fine. The stays could come up big, so I think I want to hold it. Maybe especially if we don't like another land drop. We want to make a land drop on the third turn. Alright, okay. Alright, okay. So here get a crab in play. I don't really know. We're not trying to mill ourselves at all right now, so there's really not super big difference. And then the next question is, should I be holding the second crab for next turn and trying to get max stuffs? Or the downside of this is if I end up dazing, I want to hold this fetch land if possible. So I think we're gonna try to hold it. Obviously, holding a fetch land is super good if opponent Doomsdays. So like, if opponent were to Doomsday here, we would just let it happen. They have to play around our fetch land, and then if they like pass the turn, we would just play a second crab and put their whole graveyard away. So pretty happy with this. We also have, double force days, so. To be fair, yeah. If they were to Doomsday, we would just double force in days, and we would still have 6 mil, just because we have a land and a fetch, which is nice. I don't mind that. How is the volume? Am I too loud? It's kind of close to me today. Alright. We also have surgicals in the main. And then we have like 4 surgicals post board, and we can like, get rid of underground seas and stuff. It's pretty fun. So if I had to ask for a matchup to play, I think I would actually ask to play Doomsday all 5 rounds. So maybe the deck's in a decent space. Who knows? Alright, so they found all of these underground seas. They can hard cast a Doomsday if they wanted to. Obviously, our days is not looking great right now, but of course, returning a land is powerful. Crabs. I wonder if I can put like the little crab emoji in my title. Probably. This is the most important thing right now. Definitely not playing the game. Alright. So they're just gonna pass, which I feel like makes sense. Like, they don't have to go for anything, and it doesn't really make sense for them to go for anything, but I'm definitely down to just continue the pressure. And by pressure, I mean we have no pressure. But I can act like we have pressure. I mean, if I mill... No, there's like really no combination of things where I can mill everything, because they can pick it out of the yard when they Doomsday. Like, the biggest play you can make is like mill a Thassa's Oracle and surgically extract it. That's kind of a big deal. Of course, if we draw fast spawn, we technically win the game on the spot, which is nice. I started with the 4 fast spawn crazy combo deck, and I just wasn't very happy with the fast spawns. They're almost always bad unless they win the game. So I was like, well, we have a bunch of tutors in our deck. We might as well just play 1 fast spawn and 2 Orboro and like have a backdoor combo. A question here is, do we pick this Orboro up? And I guess there's no reason to do this now. A Lotus is not a bad draw. if it resolves. So I don't know if I really even want to cast Mind Funeral. It just doesn't seem like a great play. I feel like I need to pitch it to Force, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I think the best play I can make here is just return my Orboro and replay my Orboro and mill for another 6. I need to keep pressuring him so eventually he has to go off, but I can't use resources in doing so. If I can get him in one fell swoop, it might be worth it to go, but they have a bunch of Flusterstorms in their deck. Alright, oh, you guys found the crab emoji. Now, can I make this crab emoji in my thing? Oh, sorry for the notifications, but it has to be done. It has to be done. Definitely holding this fetch land, I think, is definitely correct. We have a ton of counter magic. 26 cards left in opponent's deck. Another land drop, not a bad play. The question here is, how many lands do they actually have left in their deck? There's one Thassa's Oracle. There's both Thassa's Oracles are in their yard. But obviously, they can just pick those back up with Doomsday. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of what, 16? So maybe this is a Lethal Mind Funeral. Hold on. Let's go check out what a Doomsday list looks like. Doomsday is sitting on 14 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have exactly 4 lands left in their deck. Let's just do one more count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how I counted so badly. Hey, Kim. Alright, so this is a Lethal Mind Funeral, so I guess we should cast it. It did a little work today. Not much, though. Oh, I should talk to you, Kim, about overlay and an emote. I gotta do that at some point. I feel like I probably should remove the dead store from my overlay, so I can maybe put sponsors there if I were to ever go that route. Demonic Consultation. What are they naming with Demonic Consultation here? Flusterstorm? Or Force of Will? How many forces are left? It looks like there's a ton of Force of Wills left. There's no forces in their yard. They have 5 cards in hand. So I guess they're just going to get a Force of Will here. Kind of an interesting game of Magic. I mean, if they mill too many cards, we could just mill them for 6 with this Delta. I played a land this turn, right? Underground Sea. Okay. Mind Funeral has been quite good for me. There's just... most vintage decks don't play somewhere between, like, 13 and 16 lands. Yo, what's up, Jerry? Thanks for the sub. 3-month streak. Appreciate that.
I am active.
That's kind of funny. Oof. Should we have... I don't know. This is my backup plan, right? They can't Doomsday if we have this here, so I just figured we shouldn't crack it. But I could be wrong. I don't really know. If it looks like I know what I'm doing at any point in this video, it's a lie. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to keep this fetch, though. Imagine we just take out Discover End in round 1 of this tournament because we're on mill. I like this Mine Funeral, though. The Mine Funerals, they've been good. They've been real good, I have to admit. So they went... So they named Fluster, and they got Fluster. Interesting. They're at 8 cards, which is an annoying number of cards, because I can't hit them with the crab. What is this black mana for? There's 2 oracles in, What is happening right now? Upping Storm for Fluster? I see. Okay. Alright, okay. We have 4. I don't want to pay for this Fluster. I think they have a Force of Will in their hand. They almost assuredly have a Force of Will in their hand. 2 Force of Wills were exiled. There are 2 Force of Wills left in the final 13 cards. This is a bait, right? This is just a super big bait where if I pay for all of these things, they untap and kill me. How many Doomsdays? Like, how is opponent beating a cracked fetch land? This seems like not something I'm fighting over. I still have double Force of Negation. Now, if they had 6 cards in their library right now, we would mill them out, but we don't. So here's Doomsday, which we just let resolve. So now they have 5 cards left in their deck, and we have mill 6. All right, cool. Let's go, crabs! Yes, crab tribal. This has to be our best matchup by like. I think it's easily our best matchup. So I'm gonna bring in the 3 more archive traps, as well as the 2 Mindbreak traps, and then we can even consider 2 surgical extractions. I don't know what the fuck we're boarding out for that. But I have no idea what we can even board out for that. I feel like we don't need Mine Funerals. That seems like too much. I feel like I kind of want to keep the Drown in just for the Tassiger. I kind of think like you don't even want this fast bond. Like I don't even think you need that. And then I don't think these are gonna come in because I just don't think I'm gonna be able to take enough cards out. Obviously Narset's great. I feel like you still want Yogg-Will, but maybe you don't need it. Maybe at this point you don't need Vampiric Tutor because you're not even. There's nothing you're going super hard for. I'm not sure. I like Probe. What about just going like this and we just bring in a bunch more traps? Like, how do we lose with this kind of thing? Like, if he goes for the Tassiger line, that's probably his best bet because I don't know how he's gonna Doomsday with all this crap. Which is why I want to keep in the Drown. All right, I'm gonna go like this and see what happens. Console Oracle's a pretty good one. Oh, this is so close. So the last version I played in a league, I forgot to put Time Walk. And if I forgot to put Time Walk in the last version, it means every single version I've forgotten to put Time Walk in. So I played like 3 leagues with no Time Walks. Very bad. Not ideal. This is unfortunate because I do like this hand a lot, but I don't think you should keep it. I don't think. We only have like not enough. I don't know, man. It's just what happened. All right. This is an interesting hand. This is a super interesting hand. feel like we have to keep it, but it's not very good. Like, what am I doing? Putting away a Lotus? Or putting away a Brainstorm and just playing a bunch of counter magic? Straight up? Maybe I'm putting away a Force and playing straight up? Alright, let's try that. It doesn't seem great, but I'm on the draw. The reason I don't want to put away Lotus is because it lets me hardcast Force. Maybe that's not good enough. Lotus isn't great in our deck. Opponent's just going in on the turn 1? Oh, no. They're going for a time walk. Okay, sure. I believe I have the deck list updated now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can ditch Jet because I feel like this drown is important. I've just got to let this go. There's no way I'm forcing this. I feel like we should just fight over their 5-card pile. Now I wish we did have the double force, though. You're absolutely right. But Lotus lets us play around Flusterstorm really, really well. So like, if we go Orbero, Jet, Lotus, then we have Force and Drown and have some ability to play around Fluster. So there's like some upsides, right? The downside here is opponents can only have 1 card in their yard after the Doomsday. So, but Drown counters like Ancestral and Lotus. So, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's not fine. I definitely think that, I mean, the Lotus helping pay for a Flusterstorm is fine. But maybe we were supposed to put away Jet and keep double force. I could see that being true. A cool draw here would be a Crab. Because we could go Lotus, crack Lotus, Crab, Mill 3. Do they play around that when they build their pile here? Do they play around a top deck or a turn 1 Crab with a mill? I don't know, man. Oh, it's too good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the master comes up with, because if there's anyone who's gonna get this Doomsday pile right, it would be Discoveren. But even Discoveren does not have repetitions versus the Crabs. Yeah, I could see this being a problem. If I had double force, would I feel better? Probably. Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like we knew opponent was gonna go off on turn 1, right? Just because Discovery goes off on turn 1 a lot doesn't mean they always do. Game 1, they went off. They never went off. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I just felt like it was likely we weren't even gonna get to cast 2 forces. Like, we want to use this brainstorm, right? Possibly, maybe. Like, there's a lot of upside to going like Lotus Brainstorm on turn 1 here. I don't. There's a lot of options. We have to see if opponent goes like land cantrip, because then we have to think about it. So if opponent goes land cantrip, we just let that happen, right? Probably. If opponent passes the turn to us and we draw a crab, if opponent passes the turn to us and we don't draw a crab, like there's a lot of variables here. I'm not sure how much we should like think about certain lines, you know. So I don't know. They already played a land? Are you I guess they did play a land because this is turn 2 after a time walk, so Yeah. So I mean, we probably get our turn. So we have to figure out what we're gonna do with our turn. Like, I feel like there's a good chance that we're supposed to maybe play Lotus Brainstorm, right? I guess that's true. I mean, we have to counter a Gush. So if opponent goes Street Wraith Gush, we have to counter it. If opponent just goes straight Gush, we have to counter it. Like, we don't really have the liberty to play around things like that. If they draw in two, like, they could easily draw, you know. I mean, we might just be dead too, right? Opponent could have Gush and Force, and then we just die. But I feel like if opponent had Gush and Force, then we wouldn't be sitting here for so long. But maybe they're being very meticulous. It's possible. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at their thing. Alright, what do we got? Looking for Ancestral to start. Okay, no Ancestral. I'm looking for... There's a library now. There's no Ancestral. There's no Lotus. Dazes? No Dazes. Forces? Force. So no Force of Will. So there's an Ancestral, a Lotus. Probably two Thassas. Wraith. There's a Tombstalker now. There's an Eliminate as well. Wraith? I'm not seeing the fourth Wraith. One Wraith. Yeah, there actually is a Wraith. So let's get our own notepad out here. Hopefully something stupid on this notepad. Alright. So Lotus, Ancestral, Thassa, Wraith. So that's 5 of the 8 cards. Can we do better? How about Flusterstorms? 1, 2, probably a Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm number 3. I'm pretty sure Discover usually plays that. What about Underground Seas? 1 Underground Sea. 2 Underground, so not Underground Sea. Well, we miscounted on lands because there's a library here now. Gush. Yep, definitely Gush. Usually they run 2 days. So this is 7. This is not exactly how you spell Wraith. This is a pretty good look. No Force of Will. I don't know. I don't feel like counting lands anymore. I mean, they don't have any more lands that make manas, right? There's 2 Underground Seas and an island. So I would assume there's no lands because they would have to have like a cavern in their deck. Drew an island. So that was a blank. Sapphire is in the yard. So, Lotus, Ancestral, Thassa. So they probably have an Ancestral or a Gush on top and maybe a Fluster in hand. Or they have an Ancestral in their hand and a Fluster on top. I think we're supposed to just play out all of our mana and have Force of Will plus Drown. Why would they put a Doomsday, guys? Oh, you think it's if it was already in their hand, you mean? I see. Alright. I mean, we're pretty fluster-proof. So they have Gush coming here, which we should just force. I think. If we don't force this, what happens? They draw down to 2 cards, and they probably have Thassa plus Fluster? What about pitching like Drown so I can end of turn Brainstorm? Is that like way too greedy? can also counter Oracle, but we're assuming they have at least one fluster, but what if they have two pieces of permission? What could the second piece of permission be? Could there be like a fourth fluster maybe? Maybe they have two flusters in their hand? They can't have a force of will. And they can't have a dispute. I just think that, like, if we counter this, it just feels like this is not going to end well for us. Because it just feels like we're going to get run out of cards. They already have one Mindbreak Trap in the yard. Alright, I'm just going to counter it, pitching Brainstorm, I guess. I feel like what we really want to do is just, like, draw crap. Because then we get flustered. So their hand right now is... They have a peak in their deck. Huh. If they peek into an Oracle here, and they have Flusterstorm in their hand already, we lose. But they would have to peek into an Oracle and have Flusterstorm in there already. We don't have enough blue mana? What the fuck are you talking about? Blue, black, counter it. I think we were supposed to keep... How does this win? Oh, they draw into Lotus? Alright, this just kills us then? So we have to counter this. Or they draw into Lotus Flusterstorm. Or they just have the Fluster in their hand. Okay. Alright, well, I don't know if we could have played around this in any reasonable capacity. I think if we let the Gush go, we might have been okay. I guess they just went with one Fluster double draw, and if we just let the Gush go, we probably win this game. Because, like, this is going to be Thassa, Lotus, Lotus. Yeah, we misplayed because we just can't counter that Gush. I don't know. I actually don't know. I think we just played bad. I just think that the initial thought of letting the Gush resolve was correct. I think we punted. We weren't going to win by letting it go anyways, but... I mean... In the other case... We would still end up losing that game because they would just untap and Oracle us, but at least we would have had a chance to top deck. It's going to be really hard for our Drowning... I guess it's not super hard for our Drowning Lock to kill a Tombstalker, but it's not great. Yeah, obviously if we kept the second Force in our opening hand, that would have worked. But you can't, like... You can't keep double Force do nothing and hope it's good enough against Doomsday. Like, they're just going to out-cantrip me. Sure. Sure. I mean... Y'all wanted to pitch the Jet, though, and then we end up in the same spot. You wanted to pitch the Jet, and then we would have ended up in the exact same spot. So I don't really think that's, like... Maybe I'm supposed to play the C first. Whoops. Well... Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of interested in, like, Lotus play Brainstorm on turn 1, but it's like a super high variance play. I don't know if you can reasonably ever make that play. Another Crab? Well, I'm gonna not play my fetch land right now. I have an archive trap as backup. So, I mean, I could get dazed here, obviously, but I think that'd be fine as well. I feel like they have an ancestral. Well, that's pretty good. What am I gonna do about that? I'm not. Do I want? I could just play this, hold it up, and then next turn. All right, maybe I don't. I just play this anyways. Yeah, I splurge for these crabs. You should all be very, very thankful. Look how beautiful they are. I mean, trap technically does as well, but yeah. But this makes us double back up on Doomsday. So yeah, I think the last game where we went wrong, obviously countering the gush was wrong, and we probably should have kept the second force in our hand. I so well, I was under the assumption they only had one fluster in their pile, so I definitely should have let the gush resolve because they couldn't have had a force. They would have had to have some other counterspell I didn't know about. Opponent's discarding 2 cards at end step and didn't hit a land on turn 2. I mean, okay. I'm okay with this. We also have like about 1 billion mil lined up right now. About 1 billion. Oh my god. That's fucking gross. Alright. I cannot pay 3. So this is another 6, then up to 18. I am gonna play this in case, I mean, I can't really Sanctuary. Whatever. We're just fueling their Tombstalker, guys. I feel like it's impossible for them to Doomsday kill us through this, though. It's gotta be highly unlikely. We have 25 mil and they're at 34 cards. We might just be fine. Yeah, maybe just the drawing the triple crab is too good. I don't know, man. It's not my deck. Lotus is a good draw for them. They did not choose to shuffle with Ponder. They probably got this Lotus. Not a terrible draw either. We already milled their consult as well, so it's a pretty good place to be in life. We're currently at another... We still have 15 mil technically here. Oh, sorry, 25 mil total. They're at 26 cards. If they like crack a fetch and don't kill this turn, we might just have lethal here. Obviously, it's pretty hard for us to resolve this trap. We probably want to wait till next turn, and that way we can maybe have force back up or something, but... I'm pretty sure I'm just going to the next phase. That's fine with me. Like, they're getting pressured pretty hard right now. I obviously I'm not gonna hard cast a trap in their upkeep. It's just like a good way to die. When it's just like not something we really have to do. I just don't know how they can ever do anything, right? It's unfortunate we couldn't go for a fetch here. Do we want a mystical? Like, is there a world where we actually want a mystical? Or I don't really know if that's even something we want to do. Nope, no leyline. Feel like we just go to our next turn. And we just bounce this, replay it, and get another 6. Picking up land end step doesn't actually change anything, so there's no reason to. Like, you can always just pay to bounce with your own Orboro. Is there a reason to Mystical? I don't really see a reason to Mystical. Why? Why would we want a Mystical? Next turn, we pick this up, we replay it. If they ever cast a cantrip this turn, we just kill them. Because it's a blue card that pitches to Force. like it's already doing what it needs to do. Mystical enables their trap, sure. That's lethal. So if I should do this, I guess it doesn't matter. I've already wasted the time, so we should just do this. They're gonna Force of Will this, I assume. No. We just have lethal here. I don't think there's anything they can do to play around it, right? Oh, we're about to find out. I should do this in their upkeep, probably. I probably should have done this in their upkeep. Fuck. Yeah, there was no reason to do this now. It was really bad. It's too late. We already did it. I should just do this both in their upkeep. Maybe I shouldn't even do it at all. I didn't see anything last game that would prevent me right here. If they go for a bounce, we still have lethal. Like, if they go for chain, we still have lethal. I just don't think there's any way we get fucked here, knowing what cards are in their deck. I can't think of anything. Like, if they chain a crab in response to this, like, who gives a fuck? They don't have Echoing Truth in their deck. They have to have Echoing Truth, sure. But, like, do they have... If they have Echoing Truth, we get wrecked, sure. They have Chain and Eliminate. I guess that would be... That's still not good enough, right? No, that actually would be good enough. Yeah, we probably should not have cracked this fetch. They don't have Stifle in their deck. We know what's in their deck. We've seen their whole deck. I shouldn't have fetched. This was bad. I agree. I agree, though. We probably shouldn't have done this. There was no reason to do it. We shouldn't have done this. Is this a dig through time? So if we fetch, and can they choose not to? Put 2 of them in your hand. So if I fetch in response here, they have to go to 0 cards, right? I should just fetch in response to this. They have to put 2, right? They can't just, like, not put 2 in their hand. Fuck it, YOLO. You may look at the top 1 card and put it into your hand. Mill is 1-0. I told you, what it really is I'm just a deck building genius. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Maybe. Why not? I am scheduled to win the challenge tomorrow with some kind of nonsense deck, so that the metagame for the showcase is PO favored. That is my MO. So it might be. I don't know, man. Why do you act like I have plans? Everyone acts like I have plans. I don't have any plans. I'm just playing nonsense. All it is I have a good knowledge of what to expect from Vintage, and I make the deck accordingly, and then I play the deck with that knowledge. Like, I could see someone pick up the deck, play against Discovery right there, and not win. I could easily see that, because just like me having enough reps against Doomsday, I know what I want to do, you know? Anyways. Jesus Christ. Why not? Why not me? Why not? Sorry, 01 bracket. Good luck. Have fun. Too easy. Yeah, no, like the Dredge, actually, like the Bizarre decks are actually not the decks that I'm most worried about. I don't think we can beat Shops. I really do not think there's any. There does not seem to be a single way where we beat Shops. So, I think I would probably have to have the 4 Fastbond full combo version if I wanted to beat Shops. Done. The Dishonest something asks, I don't play Vintage, but is most Vintage games that thought intensive? No, I would say that's one of the more thought intensive games of Vintage I played recently. But there are a lot of them like that. Like if you have 2 decks that interact with each other on meaningful axes, then axes, I don't know. If you like certain decks line up against each other in like very meaningful ways, and those games are really, really long, intensive, and interesting. But I would say in general, no.